Welcome, Nat. Run. Nat's trying to beat me on on this thing. Huh? I know, right? It is Lily on the go. Welcome back to another video. Do you see where I am? It is Christmas Eve and I am in London, UK. I am traveling with my sister for the holidays and we're going to be out for quite some time. This is her first time overseas to Europe and we have a really big adventure planned. Now, I know I just showed you a whole bunch of cruise videos back to back, but now we are doing bigger trips. We are overseas, okay? So, this video is simply our trip to UK. I will be summarizing all the things that we did and very few pictures. As you know, my phone does not have a lot of space, so therefore it will be a lot of pictures. But what I'm going to show is just a small fraction of what we actually did. But I will be happy to tell you what we experienced. And unfortunately, because it was winter, it was Christmas holiday, it was cold, we did not get to do as much as we wanted. But you know what? I am a travel advisor by heart, so I will give her the great experience that she deserves. Here is our twin room at Best Western Buckingham Palace. It is on St. George. We have a really nice view outside. We're in London. This is a twin bed. Looks quite comfortable. And it's Europe, so expect everything to be small. Sufficient enough for the next 3 days. We had a layover at JFK and we arrived real late on Christmas Eve. Nothing was open in London. Thank goodness my mother had prepared some food for us that we were able to scarf down when we got to our room. This is my second time in London and I wanted to experience afternoon tea. So I booked this at the Kona Hotel, which was pretty much the only open place for afternoon tea on Christmas Day. Remember that a lot of places were going to be closed anyway, so I was fortunate to be able to book this and have this experience. This is a festive tea, and they call it festive because it is during the holiday season. And also, it is part of the Midsummer Night theme, which is a Shakespeare play. Remember when I shared that I was not physically feeling well and I was going back to get treatments? So when I returned from my cruise, my doctor put me on sick leave for 2 months. And it was a lot of physical toll on my body. However, I was determined to take my sister on this trip. We had a bigger event to attend in another country, so we made a stop to London because the flights were a lot cheaper. Note to yourself, never go to Europe on a holiday. Never go to Europe in the peak of summer. It was extremely cold and it was dark by 4:30 at the afternoon, which was very hard to really experience and see a lot of things. Afternoon tea consists of finger sandwiches, some scones, and dessert. We each had about 3 or 4 pieces to try, and they were delicious. The dessert was beautiful, and everything tastes fairly filling. We were pretty full. However, it was fairly pricey, so keep this in mind if this is an experience you want to have. We went during the Christmas holiday, so it was more expensive than normal, and we went to a pretty nice location. They can range from a very inexpensive, where you're paying about $35 or a little bit more, up to almost $200 per person. So we were kind of at the $150 per person, but it was all about the experience, and we knew we were coming to London and spending a grip. After tea, we had 2 choices. Take an Uber for $60 for only 2 miles or walk 2 miles. So, in order to save money, we walked the 2 miles. And if you know Europe, 2 miles is not a normal 2 miles. So we walked 2 miles to get to the tour bus to see the Christmas lights. Even though it was cold and a lot of congestion, we got to see enough. Then we returned to our hotel and had to order Uber Eats because nothing was open on Christmas night. Westminster. Look at my sissy. Hi, sissy. Let's go and explore the whole day. So the next morning, we were up and ready to take London by storm or by cold. It was a beautiful day, and we were on our big trip to look for the best fish and chip London has to offer. I did some research, and there was one that they shared that was promoted by Mary J. Blige. So we were on a hop-on, hop-off bus and took a whole tour around the various neighborhoods of London to get to this restaurant. We did end up doing some walking as well, but it was worth it? I would say absolutely not. I would not be going there. We spent about 35 pounds, which accumulated to about 50 USD. So that was not a good use of our money. However, we can't say we didn't try the authentic London fish and chip. So we booked the hop-on, hop-off for 2 days, which will allow us to get on the bus and take as our transportation to various tourist spots. And it worked pretty well, especially given that the weather was pretty cold and that it was a holiday. We really wanted to go to the British Museum and also see the Buckingham Palace changing of the guards. But of course, the holiday did not make that a possibility for us. So now we know. Instead, we went to the Christmas market. It was still open on Christmas, the day after Christmas. So we got a chance to go buy some churros and some hot chocolate. And we also experienced the train. Well, actually, it's called the Tube. So we were able to get tickets and just ride the tour for one of our stops. And that is all, folks. 3-night stay in London during the Christmas break. A cold, wintry Christmas. Stay tuned for future videos of the things and places I've been since then. If you'd like to see day-by-day recap of what we did during this time in London and Europe, feel free to check out my sister's Instagram that I linked below. Now it's time for our next major country.